You're listening to the Echo Ratings Eventing Podcast, the show with a light-hearted look at the eventing world, all of the big event previews, reviews, and special guests, and of course, backed up with all of the key Echo Ratings stats. Welcome to the Echo Ratings Eventing Podcast. Welcome to the Echo Ratings Eventing Podcast, and it is another preview show for you listeners. And this weekend, it is the first 4-star on British soil, as basically pretty much every event rider at 4-star level heads to Burgham. They go all the way up to the north of England to Burgham International, and we are going to be previewing all of the action that is in store this weekend. And I will be heading to Burgham, which I am very excited about, as you can imagine, listeners. But I am also joined in Burgham, socially distanced, of course, by my two guests on today's show. And I'm going to start by saying a very warm welcome to Catherine Austin.
Hi, Nicole.
Are you as excited as I am?
I'm really excited. I'm sitting here surrounded by piles of washing, Wellington boots, trainers. I've got about 100 documents open on my computer. I'm leaving to go to Burgham tomorrow morning. It's Monday night now. There seems like an awful lot to do, but I'm really excited. Going eventing. It's the first time I've been eventing this year.
It's going to be amazing. And there are so many good combinations. And one of the combinations in the lineup is none other than the defending champion, who is our second guest on the show, Kitty King.
Hi there.
Kitty, first of all, congratulations on an absolutely storming start restart to the season.
Well, they've just been on great form, all the horses, and I'm just really lucky that, all my owners kind of stuck with me through lockdown so I could keep training and working the horses, and they've all come out as well as I had hoped, really. They've, been on fantastic form, and I'm just very lucky that, my owners all stuck with me through kind of fairly tricky times.
It's been such a funny few months, but you have certainly hit the ground running. We're going to talk about Vendredi Biats for Burgham, because obviously he is your main chance in the 4-star, and he is the defending champion at Burgham as well. But just a word quickly on your other two boys, because Crystal Fontaine has just won the advanced 8 and 9-year-olds at Aston Le Walls, and he went to the 7-year-old World Championships last year and was top 10 there. Can I ask what the plan is with him for the rest of the season?
His plan, because he's only 8, and obviously it's been a bit of a strange old year, we kind of decided that we'd just get a couple of advanced runs under his belt. So he's done one at Aston, which he went beautifully at, and was really, really pleased with him. And then he's heading to Wellington to do the 8 and 9-year-old section there as well, and then Burgham Market to do the 4-star short 8 and 9-year-olds. And all being well, if he gets his qualification to be able to do a 4-star long ready for next year, he will finish at Burgham Market. So he's not kind of going to over-event this kind of half the season, but just try and get some mileage into him, to get his qualifications all done. So next year we're not having to run around chasing 4-star shorts before the kind of 3-day spring season starts.
Yeah, so that he can hit the ground running.
Plan. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. And the other horse that I was absolutely delighted to see out and about, he won an advanced section as well at Aston Le Walls, was Sailor Lan, who was your Olympic ride. And on the podcast, which is out now, listeners, there is a Riders Connected special with Horses of a Lifetime. And Kitty, he is one of your Horses of a Lifetime. He is back, and he looked incredible at Aston.
Well, I was a little bit shocked with how well he went. He wouldn't be the biggest fan of the heat, so we did kind of very short warm up for the dressage because it was absolutely scorching day, and he just went in there, pricked his ears, and did a beautiful test. It was he can get those kind of scores when everything goes our way, and he didn't make any mistakes. His changes were really nice, and all his extended work, his top and extended canters were all beautiful. So yeah, he did a lovely job, and then it was just really fun riding him on the jumping day, even though it was absolutely torrential rain when we were going. It was hideous, but he was just. I think when I came out the show jumping round to speak to his owners, I was just like, oh well, that was fun, wasn't it? Because he just jumped round really well and was really exuberant, and I was sliding around in the saddle thinking I was going to fall off at any given moment because he was jumping so well and my saddle was so slippy. But it was just fun. And then he flew around the cross country, which I'd hope he would at Aston because it's not the toughest advance in the world. But it was nice to have him back, and he galloped round, ears pricked, and really enjoyed himself. And to win by nearly 20 marks, quite
pretty impressive.
When I looked at the results, so I was like, didn't need to go that quickly in the end. But he was brilliant, and he's come out of it really happy and it's all on good form. So we're just going to concentrate doing one days this year with him, and then make decisions on what we're going to do next year. A bit nearer the time, but he'll probably aim for a little down and 4-star short at the end of the season.
Okay, cool. I mean, it would be so lovely to see him back because he has had a quiet a couple of years. But I mean, he's been top 5 at a 5-star and he is back and obviously absolutely loving being back out competing. So we'll look forward to seeing his progress for the rest of the year. But let's talk about Burgham because it is one of the premier events on the calendar anyway. Traditionally, it runs at the end of July, but obviously has moved dates in the calendar this year slightly because of COVID. And it always gets a very good field. A lot of people go for sort of pre-Burley runs and that sort of thing. But this year, it is absolutely exceptional, obviously being the first 4-star on British soil since everything has been back up and running. Now, there are, at the time of recording this on Monday night, 181 entries in the 4-star, which is just remarkable. So it's been split into 2 sections. We'll actually be watching the numbers very closely at Equiratings to see if it will be the biggest 4-star field at one single event. So we'll keep posted on that one. All depends on the number of starters. But Catherine, it's been split into 2 sections. And to be honest, we'll go through each section as it sort of comes up, but they are very hard to sort of split between because they are top class in both of them. Each of those is a sort of a feast of top names.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the quality of entries at Burgham this year is insane, really. Watching them come in was delighting and fascinating. I think in total, there are 6 5-star winners coming to Burgham. That's 6 5-star winning horses. That's pretty cool. But anything can happen. And there are lots of really talented young horses coming, some very hungry jockeys who will be keen to make a mark. And it's definitely not a dressage competition, I don't think.
No, it absolutely is not a dressage competition because a fun fact for you, in the last, how many years? So since 2014, so we've got 6 years of the event running. Nobody has won Burgham having had a pole down in the show jumping. The only show jumping penalty was actually Nicola Wilson and One Too Many in 2015, who had a single time penalty. But every other horse that has won has jumped clear. And the horses that have won Burgham in the past include Ballamore Class, Oliver Townend, Laura Collett's Mr. Bass, obviously Kitty's Ventrelay Beats as well. We just mentioned Nicola Wilson, One Too Many in there. So the number of very, very good horses is quite remarkable. And we've already mentioned a few that will be back this year to try and take it for the second time. Oliver Townend is actually the only person who has won Burgham more than once, and he has won it 3 times. So he has quite a remarkable record.
Ballamore Class.
He is.
Well, the last 3 winners are coming because Kitty is bringing her horse, and Oliver is bringing Ballamore Class, and Laura is bringing Mr. Bass. So
she is. Mr. Bass's first run back at 4-star since obviously pre-badminton last year. Should we go through them section by section? Because the 2 things that I personally will be really looking for are good show jumpers, because as I've just said, they've got to jump clear, but also the time at Burgham is exceptionally tight. And it is always a real sort of chasing the clock situation. It's a bit, Kitty, describe the Burgham cross-country course. If anybody hasn't been, just give us a little insight into what it is like.
I really like the track there. The ground is always really good. They put a lot of effort into the groundwork, and they build beautiful courses that are, they're well built fences. They're well presented. But you're always kind of slightly chasing the clock. I think last year I was even down on my first minute, and I was like, oh crap, I need to get my arse in gear because I can be a little granny sometimes. So you're always slightly chasing the clock. There's plenty of technical questions always up there, and the waters normally cause a fair bit of trouble, particularly the second one, where you normally jump a big log drop in, and then you have kind of 90-degree turn to a corner, and I think that normally causes a fair amount of trouble. So there's plenty of things to be jumping, and then it's slightly undulating the terrain. So you kind of have to have a reasonably fit horse that keeps a good balance and that you can keep kind of coasting along with and not have to interfere too much with the rhythm. So if you've got a horse that doesn't pull too much, that you can just keep cantering, keep galloping, and ideally not have to set them up too much, then it will make time a lot easier. But it's a lovely track to ride round, and I always really enjoy going up there.
It's built and designed, I guess, by David Evans and his team. Always beautifully presented. And this year, listeners, you are going to be able to watch it because Horse and Country will be streaming it live on Horse and Country Plus. And this is the breaking news. I can't believe I've made it to this point in the show without saying it. But Eventing Manager will be here for a live, real event. There will be no computer algorithms. There will be no predictions. It is real life competition for Eventing Manager. And Catherine, we are literally like kids at Christmas about this because this is like the fantasy football for eventing. And we are going to get to play it at Burgham.
I know, and to launch it at Burgham and for it to be the first live one, it is really, really cool. And with the fields of this quality, I mean, how could it be better?
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing we should say, listeners, so when this podcast goes live, the Eventing Manager market will be open. You can go into the App Store or Google Play, download Eventing Manager if you don't have it already, and you can play along by picking your fantasy team. So how it is going to work, because obviously there are 180 combinations up. So what the team have done have basically taken the riders that are ranked within the FEI World Rankings Top 100, and all of those riders with all of those horses are entered into the Eventing Manager competition. So I think there's about 43 in total that you will be allowed to pick from. And they, as always, have their prices attached to them depending on their recent form, and the computer decides how expensive they should be. But it will be across the two sections. So it will be the 43 horses that belong to the top 100. And it could be, I think Piggy has a couple of horses in there. Roz has 3 horses in there. Oliver Townend has 3. So you can actually pick riders with different horses if you want to do so. So you could have a team of Laura Collets if you can afford her, which you probably can't because she's going to be quite expensive. But that is how it's going to work. So download Eventing Manager, play along and get involved this weekend for real life Eventing Manager for the very, very first time. But let's go through some of the combinations in the field. So we'll start with the first section. So this section has Kitty, Oliver Townend, Ballamore Class are in here as well. Let's go through. Catherine, I'll start with you. Who stands out for you in that section?
Well, the 2 grey horses at the top of the market. So, Ballamore Class and Vonjdi Biat, both outstanding horses, both former winners. Kitty's horse, Vonjdi Biat, it does have the better show jumping record. Ballamore Class is obviously an extraordinarily good horse, but has had the odd pole down. They will both, I think, do very good dressage tests, and they'll both run fast cross country. And I should imagine that both of them will be close to the time, depending on conditions. So they're difficult to split, but on show jumping, then Vonjdi Biat has it slightly for me.
It's quite interesting, actually, because I let 6 run averages in the dressage. Now, Ballamore Class has a 6 run average of 24.1. Kitty has 28.5, which I actually think with Vonjdi Biat is There's one test in there that I brought the average up slightly. But I think Oliver won't have a fence in hand, even though that's their 6-run average. I don't think he'll have a fence in hand. I think you do have to show jump clear. So if he show jumps clear, I think he will absolutely be one to watch in the cross country. But I don't think you'll be able to afford penalties in the show jumping. I think his pole down last year actually that went to Kitty. Kitty, don't obviously we don't want to put too much pressure on you, because we have promised there will be no curses of Durham. He's not even on the show, so that's fine.
Thank God.
But you're in exceptional form coming into this. Are you going on the hope that it will be a chance to defend your title?
Well, I'm not driving all the way up there just for a pack about. So
it is a long way.
It's a long way to go, and the horse is in really good form. I like to try and win prizes. At the end of the day, it's why we're event riders. We like to be competitive. So he is in good form. As long as the ground conditions, are good up there, and he, comes out and does a good test, we will be giving it our absolute best shot. He ran very slowly at Aston in the advance with a 22 and a double clear, but we went very steady just to set him all up ready for Burgham to be able to run hopefully quickly and listen in and have our kind of all our breaks in line and everything like that. So yeah, we kind of sacrificed Aston for hopefully a good shot at Burgham. So yes, we are going up there to try and defend our title. I'd be lying if I said I'm just going up for a canter round. So yeah, that's the plan.
That's what we like to hear. That is what we like to hear. Okay, well, we will move on from putting you on the spot, because I think that's fair. We've embarrassed you enough now. Piggy March, Catherine, has a really interesting horse, Brookfield Quality, who we've spoken about on the podcast before, actually. But again, very, very smart.
Yes, and his form last year was outstanding. I mean, most of it is at the level, in fact, all of it is the level below. This would be his 4-star debut, but he won at Chatsworth, Rockingham, Barbury and Hartbury. That's pretty extraordinary. So whether he can maintain that, that record, I don't know. But there are a few riders more. What am I trying to say? You certainly would never count against Piggy being highly competitive on a horse that's new to this level. So very exciting to watch that.
Who caught your eye? Obviously, there's a good number of Kitty smart horses in the field, but who stands out for you? Who are you looking forward to seeing?
Obviously, Ballamore Class. I mean, he's the one to beat. He's won absolutely everything. He's an amazingly talented horse. So, yeah, he's definitely top of my list. The ones that I'm looking to try and beat. And then the Pig is Brookfield Quality. I've seen quite a bit because I competed against it with Crystal Fontaine. So I've seen it around a lot, and that's another lovely horse. And then obviously Laura's got De Capo and Mr. Bass. It will be Mr. Bass, who's kind of only, I think, 2nd or 3rd run since his injury. So whether she'll kind of be at full throttle around the cross country, I don't know. But you'd have to, if she's going up there to be competitive, you'd definitely have to watch out with both her two horses. And then I'm trying to think who else is in the field. But yeah, there's so many good horses in that section.
I was going to say, Mr. Bass, even not at full throttle, is fairly fast. He's
true.
A very good.
Tell you who is really fast.
Go on then.
The Classic Moe.
Yes, Janelle Price, the badminton winner. Yeah.
There are two more 5-star sections in that winner. There's Classic Moe and there's Ringwood Skyboy.
Yeah, with Tim Price.
So, yeah.
Probably got his work cut out.
Yeah, but I mean, if we just mention a few others, Porrig McCarthy Leonidas is in this section. Izzy Taylor will be very much up there after the first phase. I don't know if she's in this section. I think she's in the other section with Monkeying Around, so I'm getting ahead of myself. But Roz Cantor has Pencross Crown Jewel in here as well, and Bubby Upton, who has... everybody knows we're big fans of Bubby Upton on the show, but she's got a couple of really nice horses entered across both sections. And Cola is the horse. He's unbelievably talented, a real jumper, a real out and out trier. And I think she is a horse for me for a top 5 finish.
There are a couple of others. I mean, Sarah Bullamore's got 2 rides. She's got Rev de Rouet and Coroway, both of which could go very well. And that lovely horse, Selena Milnes, Iron, who has done, fantastic things, particularly at 4-star level. So that I wouldn't count them as they could easily end up in the top 5. I would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Iron ran. Where was it? He went to Aachen last year, but it was at Burgham in the long format last year where he had a podium finish and was absolutely superb. Yeah, really, really nice horse. So I think she deservedly has a very good chance. I mean, there's some really good horses. Imogen Murray's Ivor Gooden, who at the prediction centre only has him a 16% chance of finishing inside the top 10. But to be honest, he is improving his stress, a little bit more sensible in his old age, hopefully. And he's a very good show jumper, and he can be very fast cross country when he wants to be. And he's a real 5-star machine. So he would very much be one of the more experienced horses in the field as well. So I'll be looking forward to seeing them. And Alex Matian has some nice rides for China as well, which will be good to see. And interestingly, never been a winner of Burgham who is not British. So will it be this year? We will have to wait and see. But that is, should we do, Kitty, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I don't think it's fair to say pick a podium in your section. But Catherine, should we do a podium? Should we do a podium?
Yeah, go on.
Fair for Kitty's section. But I feel really guilty because I don't know whether I should put Kitty on my podium like I want to, or whether she will then blame me for a potential. But I'm not Durham, Kitty, so am I allowed?
You're not Durham, so it's fine.
Okay, that's fine. Go on, Catherine, you go first.
Okay, I am going for the winner will be Avonja de Beats, with Ballamore Class second and De Capo of Laura Collett's third.
I'm going to say the winner will be Avonja de Beats, Kitty King.
No pressure.
We're not going to say that Laura Collett's Mr. Bass will be second, and Oliver Town and Ballamore Class will be third. They are my top 3. Okay.
We haven't gone too far outside the bounds of.
No, we're not really. We're not really being wild here, are we? Okay. So let's move on to the next section. So this section, listeners, has the likes of, well, at the time of recording this, Tim Price is still entered with Wesco, who topped the prediction centre. But because they ran in Haradapan at the weekend, I'm going to presume that he won't be running at the moment. So we'll that. But it has the likes of Laura Collett, London 52, Roz Cantor All-Star B, Piggy March's Brookfield Innocent. Oh God, the list. I'm just going down the list, Catherine. I'm not going to read them all out. I'll let you pick some of your favourites first, because it is extraordinary.
Yeah, and we've got the world champions, Roz Cantor and All-Star B. That's amazing. We've got the last 5 winner, i.e. Tom McEwen and Toledo Duquesa, who won at Poe last year. We've got Janelle Price and Fairy Dynamo, Le Moulin, 5-star winners. Nicola Wilson and Bolana. That'll be really cool.
I'm really looking forward to seeing Bolana back, actually, because she sort of was making a comeback. She's had a little bit of a sort of a tricky couple of years. She obviously finished as third at the Europeans in Stragon, won team gold back in 2017, and then has had a mixed sort of couple of years and a couple of speed bumps and a couple of injuries and that sort of thing. And then she was making a great comeback last year in Nick Arville. So she had the rest of last year off. And then she's back this year and she's done a 20.9 and a 25.9 in her last 2 rounds. But I think she's sort of building back up to be very, very competitive at 5-star level.
Very popular winner. And moving down in Harry Mead and Superstition, that's going to be exciting to watch.
Their first international since they won Stragon for the long format 4-star last year when it had the horse 10 days.
Yep. Oh, and Little Fire. William Fox puts Little Fire. That's one of my favourite horses. Really looking forward to seeing that.
There's Don Gennaro, my favorite. Honestly, my love for Don Gennaro of Alex Poitian knows no bounds. He's a character, but he is a very, very talented character. Kitty, who stands out for you on the start list of the other section?
Without wanting to be really boring, Piggy and Brookfield Innocent. He's a lovely, lovely horse. He's obviously got wonderful form. She had him at Aston last week, and he looked great. He did a good test. I think he had one down, but the kind of ground conditions and the weather was not great. So yeah, Brookfield Innocent. I mean, you can't write off All Star B. He's obviously world champion. Ros is always really competitive. And then Laura in London. I saw him at Bicton. He looked brilliant for his kind of lockdown break. He looked really strong and mature, and had kind of did some lovely work. I saw her warming up, and he looked on brilliant form. Tom and Toledo. There's just so many lovely horses. I mean, you're spoiled for choice, really.
And there are two slightly bubbling under that really caught my eye. I mean, Izzy Taylor is monkeying around. If he doesn't monkey around, he is, he could win anything. He's sensational. Mm-hmm. He's just a bit sharp. And I know that Oliver Cannon really likes Tregilder. And it's a really big horse, but actually manoeuvrable and very fast. And I think he thinks that's going to be a top horse.
Okay, that's interesting. Go on, Kitty.
Looking down the list, then there's also Yasmin Ingham on Banzai de Loire. That horse I've seen recently. It seems to have been at Aston when I've been there both times, and it looks like a really nice horse for the future. Very kind of athletic, light on its feet. I think it was third, just behind Crystal Fontaine at Aston in the 8 and 9-year-old class. But that can do a good test. It's a very good jumper. I think it'll be its first 4-star short, but it could be maybe not on the podium, essentially, but it could be a really lovely horse. It could be right up there if all goes to plan in the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. That actually was one I was going to pick out as well, because that was actually flagged up, I think, start of the year, much as a young gun to watch for 2020. Obviously, then we had COVID, but agree with that. Sandman 7 in here as well, actually, who won the Team Silver at the Blair Castle Europeans with Pippa, and has been with Yaz for a couple of years now, and they've had some really good results as well. So I'll be interested to see them. I think they'll run competitively, I hope. There's also Gortfada Diamond and Emily Chancel long format 4-star last year, which I think they won that by an absolute country mile as well. So that's a really smart ride for her.
They look really classy doing it as well.
Yes.
It might not have been a huge field, but Emily and the horse were very classy and put up a super performance. I'm looking forward to seeing them. I've just spotted the world's coolest pony, which is Dasset Cooley Dun, which is Sarah Way's little dun horse who jumped brilliantly around Po last year and is always such a pleasure to watch. They have a great partnership. They have a huge amount of trust and faith in each other, and I really enjoy watching them.
Oh, he is super cool. He's a real dinky little powerhouse, and they just make a really, really cool combination. Tim Price and Xavier Fair is in this section as well. It's going to be podium time because we have got to pick podium for this section as well. Who would you like to go? Kitty, I'll let you go first, seeing as we let you off the hook for your own section.
I think it will be Piggy and Brookfield Innocent. Mm-hmm. Then Laura and London and Ros and Old Derby.
Okay.
In that order.
Catherine?
I am going to go for Laura and London, and then Brookfield Innocent, and then Oliver and Tregilder.
Okay. I feel like I need to do something a little bit. I'm going to with Laura to win with London 52. I will say Oh gosh, what shall I say? I'm going to say Piggy March and Brookfield Innocent in second. Then Nicola Wilson and Bilana in third. Oh, it's so exciting. So this weekend, the live streaming will be on Saturday and Sunday on Horse and Country Plus. So if you want to watch it on there, there'll be some brilliant commentary from the amazing John Kyle too. And we will keep you up to date with all of the action from Burgham. There will be plenty of behind the scenes pictures, I'm sure, on the Burgham social media channels. So go and check those out. Echo Ratings will be keeping an eye on the numbers. And I will be showing you some behind the scenes bits and pieces as well. So do stay tuned across those. And we might even, if we get time, Catherine, we might even steal away for a socially distant podcast while we're up there.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that. I can't wait to see both of you. That's the really exciting bit.
We're all going to be stood at corners of fields waving frantically at each other. Kitty, we will come and fangirl you and cheer the loudest when you defend your title. We'll be really, really rooting for you. Yeah, absolutely. No, we won't do that. Thank you. And listeners, we hope that you've enjoyed this preview show. We hope that you're enjoying eventing being back up and running, and we will be back very soon. But stay tuned for all of the action from Burgham this weekend. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you for listening to the Echo Ratings Eventing podcast. This podcast is available for free on iTunes, Spotify, Podcast Addict, or wherever you usually listen to your podcasts. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. Find us at eventingpodcast.com or search Eventing Podcast on social media.